still have that tweet that he tweeted out saying that if he ended up missing, because you had that, I think, on yesterday's show.
Here is a pinned tweet on Gonzalo Lira's page. He pinned this back at the end of March. He said, if you want to learn the truth about Zelensky's regime, Google these names, right? All of these people have gone missing. So he says, if you haven't heard from me in 12 hours or more, put my name on the list. Now, this was March, so he survived at least a few more weeks. One of the last things that he was tweeting about and talking about was Patrick Lancaster's amazing work. We've covered some of Patrick Lancaster's work here on the show for, almost like 2 months now. We've been featuring Patrick Lancaster's boots on the ground, has lived in Ukraine for 8 years, covering the atrocities and the genocide that have been unfolding in the Donbass region that the Western media has ignored, by the way. And by the way, one of the last tweets that Gonzalo Lira actually posted was about the Western media's hypocrisy on these Nazis. And he actually tweeted this. And this compilation of all of these Western headlines talking about the Nazis in Eastern Ukraine, in the military, and leading this regime. And then, of course, a few days later, he's missing, doesn't show up for this interview on the mother of all talk shows with George Galloway, and doesn't show up for his meeting, doesn't show up for the interview. Scott Ritter can't get a hold of him, and they're friends. He's been contacting him and talking with him, can't get a hold of him. And then now we have this confirmation from Scott Ritter that he was, in fact, Gonzalo Lira was murdered by the Kraken unit, which is part of the Azov battalion affiliated with the Ukrainian security service.
It's interesting, this Daily Beast piece, because it's asking us to disqualify him based on what he was before the war, which seemed to be some kind of mansplaining type blogger about relationships, right? Mm-hmm. They called him a dating coach, which... it's fine. It seemed like there was a lot of machismo in his brand pre-war. So we can, I guess it's worth discussing, right? Do we discount somebody because they were not previously a war expert? But I have heard many guests on various podcasts, policy podcasts and think piece podcasts, of people who also were not experts on war, but happen to have a perspective by living there.
Or should we take get our war advice from people who benefit from war, right? So if you turn on CNN or MSNBC or any of these other channels, they've got former CIA contractor, former